J. Paul Getty once said, "If you owe the bank $100, that's your problem. If you owe the bank $100 million, that's the bank's problem." That quote used to be a joke. Now it's basically the American financial playbook. Here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. Money doesn't just buy things. It buys entirely different realities. The person with $0 and the person with $100 million are not playing the same game. They're not even in the same casino. Today, we're going to walk through every level of net worth: $0, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, and show you exactly what life looks like, what the rules are, and where the invisible doors are hiding. Because the biggest financial lie you were ever told is that it's all one continuous ladder. It's not. It's a series of completely different games, each with different rules, different risks, and different enemies. Let's go. Here's a history lesson they skipped in school. In 1950, the average American worker could buy a home on a single income and about 4 years of savings. Today, the median home costs 6.8 times the median household income. That's not inflation. That's a restructuring of who gets to build wealth and who gets to watch. This story has a sequel, and we've seen it before. In the Gilded Age of the 1890s, the top 1% controlled roughly 45% of all wealth in America. Then came the Progressive Era. Union movements. The New Deal. The GI Bill. By 1978, the wealth gap had compressed to its most equal point in modern history. Then something changed. 1980 happened. Deregulation. Tax cuts. The financialization of everything. And now, as of 2024, the top 1% controls 38.7% of all wealth in America again. We are back. Almost exactly back. To the Gilded Age. So when you feel like the game is rigged, you're not paranoid. You're historically literate. Let's talk numbers. Real ones. Because this is where it gets uncomfortable. At $0 net worth, 47 million Americans carry a negative net worth. That means debt exceeds assets. Completely. The average overdraft fee in America is $35. Banks collected $7.7 billion in overdraft fees in 2022 alone. Think about that. The poorest Americans are literally paying a poverty tax just for being poor. At $1,000, $10,000. This is the most dangerous zone psychologically. You have just enough money to feel like you're making it. But one emergency, a car repair, a medical bill, a layoff, sends you back to zero. 57% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency expense from savings. 57%. At $100,000. You've crossed a psychological barrier. But here's the twist. At $100,000 in net worth, if it's locked in a 401k, you can't touch it without a 10% penalty plus income taxes. The government basically says, nice work. Now don't touch it. This is the zone where people feel wealthy but are actually illiquid. Rich on paper. Broke in practice. At $1 million. Welcome to the threshold America worships. But here's the 2025 reality check. $1 million invested in a standard 60-40 portfolio generates roughly $40,000 per year following the 4% withdrawal rule. That's below the median U.S. household income. A millionaire, in the most literal sense, cannot comfortably retire in a major American city in 2025. San Francisco. New York. Miami. Your million is a down payment on an average life. At $10 million. Now the rules start to bend. At $10 million, you access things normal people don't know exist. Private banking, JP Morgan's private client division doesn't take your call until $10 million. Alternative investments, hedge funds, private equity, farmland, timberland. Tax structuring, your accountant stops filing TurboTax and starts building entities. The S&P 500 returned roughly 10.7% annually over the last 30 years. $10 million compounding at 10% for 10 years? $25.9 million. While you sleep. This is where money stops being a tool and starts being an engine. At $100 million, you are no longer affected by the economy. You are the economy. A small piece of it. At this level, your financial team includes a family office managing your assets, tax attorneys across multiple jurisdictions, lobbyists, sometimes directly or indirectly, access to pre-IPO deals the public never sees. Here's the number that should stop you cold. The top 400 wealthiest Americans paid an average effective federal tax rate of 8.2% between 2010 and 2018, according to a White House study. The average middle-class worker pays 22 to 24%. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed, just not for you. Okay. You sat through the uncomfortable history lesson. Now what? Here's the magnificent 7 moment of this video, the part where everything crystallizes. There are 7 invisible doors between $0 and $100 million. Most people never find them because nobody tells them they exist. Door number 1, the emergency fund door, $1,000 to $5,000. This isn't glamorous. It's not investing. It's not crypto. It's boring. It's a buffer. But without it, every financial step forward gets erased by life. This is the most important door. And it costs less than a MacBook to open. Door number 2, the debt escape door, $10,000 to $30,000 net worth. The average American carries $6,329 in credit card debt at an average interest rate of 21.47%. You cannot outinvest 21% interest. Warren Buffett can't outinvest 21% interest. Paying off high-interest debt is a guaranteed 21% return. Every single time. Door number 3, the compounding door, $50,000 to $100,000 invested. Einstein allegedly called compound interest the 8th wonder of the world. Whether he said it or not, he was right. $500 a month invested from age 25 to 65, at a 10% average return? $3.16 million. The same $500 a month starting at 35? $1.13 million. 10 years of delay cost you $2 million. The door doesn't care how smart you are. It only cares when you walk through it. Door number 4, the tax optimization door, $100,000 to $500,000. This is where most people leave money on the table. Max your 401k, $23,500 in 2025. Max your HSA, $4,300 for an individual. Use a Roth IRA before your income disqualifies you, $7,000 per year. These aren't loopholes. They're the written rules. The wealthy use every single one of them. Every year. Without fail. Door number 5, the asset class door, $500,000 to $2 million. Here's where your portfolio needs to grow up. The average retail investor holds stocks, maybe bonds, maybe some cash. The average endowment fund, Harvard, Yale, holds stocks, private equity, real estate, commodities, timber, infrastructure. Yale's endowment returned 17.4% in fiscal year 2021, while the average 401k returned around 12%. Diversification isn't having 10 stocks. It's having 10 different types of assets. Door number 6, the income architecture door, $2 million to $10 million. At this level, the shift is psychological as much as financial. You stop selling your time. You start building systems that sell for you. Real estate cash flow. Business equity. Royalties. Dividends. Licensing. The wealthy don't have one income stream. Studies show the average millionaire has 7. Your job is income stream number 1. The question is, what's income stream number 2? Door number 7, the generational wealth door, $10 million plus. Here's the final boss. This is where money stops serving your life and starts serving your family's legacy. Irrevocable trusts. Family LLCs, 529 plans. Charitable foundations. The ultra-wealthy don't just make money. They build containers that protect money from taxes, lawsuits, and poor decisions for generations. The Rockefeller family has been wealthy for over 150 years. They aren't smarter than you. They just learned earlier that the real game isn't making money. It's keeping it. Here's where I'm supposed to tell you that if you just work hard and believe in yourself, you'll make it. I'm not going to do that. Because the data doesn't say that. What the data does say is this: the rules are different at every level. And the people who win aren't always the smartest or the hardest working. They're the ones who figured out which game they were playing and played that game specifically. You can't skip levels entirely. But you can move through them faster. Stop trying to play the $10 million game when you're at the $10,000 level. Win the game you're in. Then advance. The wealth gap is real. The system is imperfect. History confirms it. But within that system, the doors exist. And every single door I described today? Someone with less than you started with has already walked through it. Your job isn't to complain about the maze. Your job is to learn the map.